Our goal is to find the values of the 6 trigonometric functions based on this quadrantal terminal point. All right, so it's quadrantal, which makes this a little bit different problem than some of these others that we've seen. Pretty similar though, the only difference is this happens to hit on the x-axis, or sorry, this one's on the y-axis. It would be quadrantal if they were on the x-axis as well. All right, so as we get going on this, it's important to remember that as we get these terminal points, they always go as cosine as the x value, and then sine as the y value. So if you keep that in mind, you're already given 2 of the 6. So it shouldn't be too bad to get the rest of them. All right, so in this case, our ordered pairs 0, -1. We can say 0 is the x value, so that's going to be the cosine value. Whereas -1 is our y value, so that's going to go as the sine value. All right, after we have these two, let's work next on finding tangent. So tangent is based on a quotient identity is sine over cosine. So we can say tangent of t is just going to be sine of t over cosine of t. All right, after we have that definition down, our quotient identity, what we can do is we can fill in for sine of t and for cosine of t. So in our case, sine of t can be replaced with -1 up in the numerator. And cosine of t can be replaced with 0 in the denominator. However, if we replace our denominator with 0, hopefully bells and whistles are going off, and you say to yourself, we're not allowed to divide by 0. We'd say that's undefined. All right, so undefined for tangent. But then let's look at our other 3. Okay, these other 3 are reciprocals for the 3 that we've already listed out. So as we're trying to calculate cosecant, secant, and cotangent, remember that cosecant is the reciprocal of sine. So if you want to visualize these as each being fractions, sometimes that's helpful because reciprocals, what we're going to do is we're going to invert numerator and denominator. So I'm going to visualize this as -1 over 1. As we use its reciprocal, we're going to go 1 divided by -1, which reduces down to being simply -1. Now these others we want to be a little bit careful about. These are the more difficult ones. But I'm going to visualize this as 0 divided by 1 is equivalent to 0 for cosine. So if I want to look at secant, what I can do is I can invert that. I can put 1 divided by 0. However, hopefully bells and whistles are going off and you say, that's a problem, can't divide by 0, that's actually undefined. And then finally, cotangent, maybe I'll use this definition. What we had up here is -1 divided by 0 is what we said was undefined when we computed tangent. So with this fraction, if we flip it upside down, use its reciprocal, that's 0 divided by -1. When you have 0 on the numerator, that's actually okay, right? If you have 0 of something and you divide it however many ways, everyone still ends up with 0. So the cotangent of t in this situation is still going to be 0. All right, so these quadrantal terminal points can be a little bit confusing. They really aren't that bad though. Just take your time. I think the most difficult is remembering you can always put something over 1. Whenever you get undefined, that means you're dividing by 0. All right, so when you flip it upside down, you're still going to get a 0 in the numerator, which is okay. Dividing by 0 in the denominator, not okay. All right, hope this helps. Good luck as you're working through these.